The mid-20th century in the United States witnessed a seismic shift in the nation's social and political landscape, the advent of the Civil Rights Movement. Fueled by an unwavering commitment to justice and equality, this transformative period challenged the deeply entrenched racial segregation that ran rampant in American society. As a response to decades of systematic discrimination, a courageous group of civil rights activists, alongside a diverse coalition of supporters, rose courageously against the status quo. Led by iconic figures such as Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and Rosa Parks, the movement sought not only to dismantle legal barriers but to reshape the very fabric of a nation that had long grappled with the contradiction between its ideals and its actions. This video delves into the historical context that led up to it, the key figures that played a part, and the successes they found in their efforts. The historical context preceding the Civil Rights Movement in the United States was characterized by deeply entrenched racial segregation and discrimination. In the post-Reconstruction era, the South implemented Jim Crow laws, institutionalizing racial segregation in public facilities, schools, and various aspects of daily life. The doctrine of separate but equal sanctioned unequal treatment, with Black Americans facing pervasive inequality and limited access to education, employment, and civil participation. This segregationist landscape persisted for decades, fostering a climate of racial tension and inequality. However, pivotal events began to challenge the status quo, and none more influential than the landmark Supreme Court case Brown v. Board of Education in 1954. The unanimous decision declared state laws establishing the separate public schools for Black and white students to be unconstitutional, overturning the precedent set by Plessy v. Ferguson in 1896. Brown v. Board of Education marked a great moment, laying the groundwork for civil rights movement by challenging the legal basis of segregation and inspiring a generation of activists to confront the deeply ingrained racial injustices in American society. Central to the civil rights movement were key figures and leaders whose indomitable spirit and impassioned advocacy created monumental change. Foremost among them was Martin Luther King Jr., a charismatic preacher whose philosophy of nonviolent civil disobedience became the movement's guiding principle. King's iconic "I Have a Dream" speech at the March on Washington brought forth the aspirations of millions, calling for an America where individuals would be judged by their character rather than the color of their skin. Alongside King, the movement bore witness to the transformative influence of Malcolm X, whose advocacy for Black empowerment and self-defense added a nuanced dimension to the struggle for civil rights. Rosa Parks, often hailed as the mother of the civil rights movement, ignited a spark when she refused to yield her seat on a Montgomery bus, inspiring the boycott and underscoring the power of individual acts of resistance. Together, these key figures and leaders exemplified the courage, resilience, and diversity that defined the civil rights movement, their collective efforts echoing throughout history as beacons of inspiration for generations to come. The successes and achievements of the civil rights movement during the 1960s were transformative, making a crucial turning point in American history. Legislative victories played a pivotal role, with the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. The former outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin, fundamentally altering the legal landscape and providing a robust framework for enforcing equal rights. The latter aimed at eliminating barriers to voting for African Americans, particularly in the southern states where discriminatory practices had long impeded their political participation. Concurrently, the movement successfully challenged the segregation of schools and public spaces, dismantling the institutionalized racism embedded in everyday life. As a result, African Americans gained access to educational opportunities previously denied to them, and public spaces became more inclusive. Beyond legislative and institutional changes, the civil rights movement exerted a profound impact on public perception and attitudes. The powerful images and narratives emerging from protests, marches, and acts of civil disobedience prompted a national reckoning with racial injustice. The movement's leaders articulated the moral imperative of equality, contributing to a gradual but substantial shift in societal attitudes toward racial equality. In essence, the civil rights movement stands as a landmark moment in American history, propelled by the unwavering courage of leaders like MLK, Malcolm X, and Rosa Parks. Its legislative triumphs and cultural impact shattered the chains of racial segregation, leaving an indelible mark on the nation's psyche. Beyond its historical achievements, the movement's enduring importance lies in its call for justice. The lessons of the civil rights movement resonate today, urging us to confront systematic inequalities and champion the ongoing pursuit of a society founded on principles of fairness and dignity.